Welcome back to Secretive. I'm your host, Andy Jaide, and today I'm back with my guest, Shayla, to have more conversations on growth, life, and TS. Make sure you're subscribed and follow on Instagram at T-Rated Podcast so you'll be the first to know every time a new episode drops. Now let's get into the episode. Come on, girl. What are we talking about today?
I would like to talk about outing men, and is it okay for trans women who identify as women to out men?
When I say out in quotation, you feel like it's different? I feel like
it's a little different. I feel like there's circumstances, but I want to hear your take on it.
My take?
Yeah.
Why do we have to start with my take?
Do you want to start with mine?
Yeah.
Oh,
Tell us.
I feel like, for me personally, in my dating life, I let them know when they're acting like, because most of us meet men through dating sites. It's easier that way. You can just kind of put it out there, and the ones who want you want you.
Pop it in your bio, honey.
Don't. Right. It's kind of just easier that way. In everyday life, men obviously approach you, but it could be unsafe for you to say it out loud. But when guys come into my DMs, or when they slide up on
slide in your DMs.
They slide in my DMs.
They
run, they jump, do a little flip. But whenever they do that and they're like, I'm not sending a picture, or I'm not doing this, or they act just a little bit too discreet.
Maybe when they put you on banish mode.
Okay. There's a difference between discreet and being a secretive.
Yes.
You feel me?
But I love a discreet relationship.
Yeah, because I've been in a discreet relationship for a whole year, and no one knew a thing. But it's not. But when they saw us together, they knew. You know what I'm saying? Like when people saw us together, like it's like
what's going out and doing stuff.
Yeah, it's not like you know what I'm saying.
Broadcasting on the internet.
Yeah, it's not everybody's business. You might see a picture of us popped up, but don't nobody know us. You get what I'm saying? People probably don't even know that y'all dating type stuff.
Yeah.
So, but like I feel like I would never out a man because I would never entertain someone who could possibly be outed. If you're not willing to take me out, and you're not willing to treat me as the woman that I am, I'm good on you.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. And I feel like if any trans woman is genuinely a woman, you come with that type of thing, unless it's transactional, because that's completely different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, it's about the money, not about my morals.
Don't fuck your money up.
But like morally, I'm just like, I'm not fixing to sit here and protect your identity. So you might as well just get out of my. It's not outing, because if you with me, it's open. I can tell if you messing around with me, or if you're dating me, or if it's just
the assumption going into it is like you can speak on his name.
I'm going to speak on your. I'm going to, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is. If I'm on FaceTime, my friend walk, you ain't. No. No.
You think what's up? So nobody can see them.
Right. It's what's up. Like you gonna be cool about it. You feel me? There is no outing with me. You already out when you with me.
You already out. Would you think other girls who don't date with those parameters should be able to talk? Do you feel like it's outing?
Do I feel like it's outing?
Yeah. You feel like it's considered outing? Like just in general.
Okay. So so you're asking me if they are walking into a situationship where the person doesn't want to be known, and then they decide to tell it, is it okay? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah. Do you think that's considered like outing?
I do. I do consider that.
You know, like in the LGBT community, people kind of like frown on the idea of quote unquote outing people because people should be able to like live in their truth whenever they're ready to.
Well, I feel like if you are dating a DL guy, I feel like you're kind of signing up for that. So I don't feel like it's your choice to make him come out. You get what I'm saying? So if you're deciding to entertain this person and this person's trusting you with their secret, so to say, and you decide to out them because things are no longer going your way, or because you want him to come out to love you and all those things, I don't feel like that's okay because you walked into it knowing what's up. You accepted this. Now you are the one at wrong because this is not your information to tell. You get what I'm saying? Like this is not you. You know what I'm saying? You accept. So that's how I personally feel. And if you're a trans woman and you truly view yourself as a woman, why are you dating someone who's ashamed to be with you? There's so many people out there who love you for exactly who you are. So there's no reason to date a DL guy. That means he views you as a dude.
I can understand that. Because I told people before, I'm like, if I know the sky's blue, right? The sky, y'all can see it in the background. It's blue. You can't tell me that shit's not blue. Mm-hmm. There ain't nothing you can say to me that is going to convince me otherwise whether or not the sky is blue. And so I understand you in the concept, like, in the context of, like, if a man is dating you and he views you as a woman,
he wouldn't be ashamed to be with you.
Nobody else can tell him that you're not that.
Yeah, he's not going to be ashamed to be with you because what's the difference? Mm-hmm. Like, to him, this is a woman, and it's no conversation, it's no negotiation. It is exactly what it is.
I feel like when you
but if you are dating someone who is DL and you're accepting that means you know that he views you as a man or anything other than what you view yourself, and you also seem to view yourself that way to accept that, unless it's transactional. Because like I said, at that point, then it's money. It's different. It's different. If that's what you're into, if you know what I'm saying, because there's bigger things. There's a bigger picture at hand. Like you said in our previous episodes, sometimes we do things for like that monetary. How'd you word it? The monetary discomfort. For
the momentary discomfort.
The momentary discomfort
for the monetary gain.
Yeah, exactly. Very that. So I get that in a sense, but even if you try to out him, then why'd you do that? Because y'all both was using each other.
Because I was trying to blackmail you and you didn't want to pay me any extra. And so, well, now I'm just going to tell everybody. I feel like there's two sides to it. Because from, like, your perspective, you're looking at it like the girl, like, if you knew this going in, like, he shouldn't have done it. But you can look at the flip side of that. It's like, well, he knew going into it, if it got out there, he would not be comfortable with that truth being out there about himself. Mm-hmm. And so if you feel like you got to sneak around and do something, then you might not be wanting to do it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's kind of both sides of it can be messy. And so it's like the guy going into it knew that he didn't want anybody else to know. So I guess if it happens to you, choose your bitches a little bit better.
I feel like just own the shit. If you are men who are out it, if 4 or 5 trannies or 2 trannies and 4 men have all came out and said they done did X, Y, and Z with you, I can promise you sticking to the lie, ain't nobody believing you. Ain't nobody at this point.
Well, no,
come out.
I feel like that.
Come out, Dwayne.
Dwayne who?
The one that's the football player. The one that's the 2 trannies.
Dwayne who?
I don't know his last name. Real tall.
Names.
Come out. It's okay. I like trans women. It's okay at this point because nobody's gonna believe you. Nobody.
So, but I feel like that goes into more of a conversation of like how people, because you're like, nobody's gonna believe you, but it's kind of like,
if 2 or 3 people are saying the same
people
thing,
still believe them. Like when Nikita blasted Tyga on
it wasn't
the
just
internet
her,
like 2 years ago. No, I'm saying when she did it, like
it was like
she was kind of the recent person to do it, right? Mm-hmm, when she called him out, it was very much. Because I was looking at different stuff on Twitter and like the discourse around it.
Yeah.
And there were still plenty of people. And she was dead wrong for that. There were still plenty of people on there though, like guys commented underneath there talking about even when China came out, his fucking baby mama came out and was like, he likes trannies or whatever she said on Twitter. A day later, she was talking about this is like her account got hacked and all this kind of stuff, which like, girl, no it didn't, but whatever. And the next day when she was sitting there saying, oh, her account got hacked, there were people underneath there talking about yeah, we know because X, Y, Z, you wouldn't do this and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, a lot of people, I feel like we think it's common knowledge that he's been brought up so many times as enjoying trans women. But I don't think it's that common knowledge. And so like people believe that shit all the time. There's women out here thinking they baby daddy's not gay, and that's just his homeboy. So the fact that we think people just don't continuously believe it.
I don't believe that. I respect that.
Some of them are just like in denial.
I feel like they in denial in public, but behind closed doors, they're like, "You looking at that gay porn again, ain't you?" You do it like they know. You know, girl. You just ain't saying it out loud because you embarrassed.
Yeah.
Or you're a fan, so you don't want to like. You feel like it's a negative.
Yeah, but I mean, men believe, like, people believe men all the time.
Do they?
About the most random dumb shit. Yeah.
Maybe it's because I don't. Because
even when it comes to like, even when we were talking about disclosure, like people automatically assume as soon as the guy says, "Oh, I didn't know," people automatically side with the guy. And so anytime a guy comes out and says something,
that is true sometimes.
Yeah, they just don't. That's
I feel like it's slowly changing though.
Yeah.
I feel like people are kind of like, we know. How you not know?
Yeah. I mean, if you run,
if let anybody else tell it, we all know.
Yeah. If you know a lot of trans women, or if you're like in a lot of trans spaces, you know, like the tea. Like every community kind of has. So I feel like let me not use that as an example, but there was this popular entertainment couple in Atlanta.
Who?
There was this popular entertainment couple in Atlanta.
Who?
That some mess came out about with them going to strip clubs and messing with dancers there.
Who?
Which it was a little bit more than that, allegedly. But it came out.
Cardi and Offset?
No. Popular entertainment couple.
Candy and Todd? No, there's been a lot of
Candy and Todd.
There's been a lot to do it.
Not Candy and Todd.
I say put a name on her and leave it on the playground.
Okay. Who's Tiana and Tiny? Baby, I'm leaving it on the playground. So it was like Tiana and Tiny, but like that was kind of like the fact that they have an open relationship with like. I feel like people who worked in kind of like nightlife in Atlanta or just like lived in Atlanta already had heard that.
Really?
And so I feel like it was just a shock to the rest of the United States. People and so like it works the same way in terms of like the trans community.
Do you think people believe
like
T.I. when he said he didn't do it, or when he said that it was? Did they even say anything? I heard about the allegations. They were real quiet.
That's besides the point. Yeah, they came out. Yeah, T.I. came out and said something on video and stuff.
Do you think people believed him?
What?
Like what he said?
Oh, of course he did.
Did you think like it was like the vast majority was like he right?
Yeah, that he didn't do that. Oh, yeah. I feel like most people probably think that he didn't do it.
But people in Atlanta,
you got people running around still believing R. Kelly didn't do the shit that R. Kelly did,
and it was on videotape.
So
like twice, I think.
I mean, people gonna believe whatever they want to believe, and so it's But I say that context of like the same way the Atlanta community kind of already knew about that. It's like the trans community already knows about like a lot of certain people that I feel like guys think. I don't know why guys think this. This might be like a little too much information.
Go ahead, spill it, girl. Go ahead.
But girls talk the same way guys talk, and so it's like, cause maybe
they might not say it out loud on the internet or like go and say,
but they
talk amongst each other for sure. We all know.
Yeah,
we all know who's going.
Especially like in Atlanta, I feel like it's a very small community of people, and so like guys will sit there and talk to you about other girls. So it's like you think, but then I don't know why they don't think that we talk about the dudes amongst each other. Because I mean, I've been in like trans-specific spaces online, and names would get brought up, and they're not like, yeah. I'm not a big, when it comes to outing though, I'm not a big proponent of.
Do you think the women or the gay men who participate in outing someone, do you think that's okay for them to do that? Knowing that the person is DL?
I mean, I kind of feel like I can't tell anybody else how to like live their life in that context of doing it. It's just not something I would necessarily do.
But do you think it's wrong? Do you yourself think it's wrong?
I don't think I don't think it's like, I don't feel like there's a straightforward like moral answer to it. It's just not something I would do. Because I feel like if you feel like something's right or wrong, it's like you're making a moral judgment on it. Like if a girl does it like for a reason, I feel like it can be dangerous for the girl. And so like they should be conscious of that, but I wouldn't say it's like morally right or wrong either way. Yeah. Like if a girl does it or like speaks on it or posts a screenshot on the internet, like I don't know why she decided to do that. Why she didn't decide to do it.
Unless he just decided to come in and say like unless you agreed to be with him, that's where I truly feel like you were wrong for doing that. You know what I'm saying? In Nikita's case, I feel like it was like he just DM'd her and was like, "Call me" or something like that. Or was it not that? And it was just a screenshot. I don't feel like she was wrong for that because you slid in my DM. You feel me? So if I decided to say anything, that's not outing. I was actually just sharing information that was
the thing is too, especially when it turns into screenshots and like girls posting screenshots. Let's not pretend like trans women are not the only women who post screenshots of DMs that they get.
Right. I don't feel like that was wrong of
women
her.
in general kind of do that. It's just because, for whatever reason, the general public feel like we supposed to be quiet about it. And like most DL men don't see themselves as being part of the LGBT. And so I feel like the idea of you're not supposed to out people doesn't apply to them. Like, you don't see yourself as being part of like the community at all, which is perfectly fine, because most of y'all I don't either. And so I feel like the idea of not outing someone, I feel like it's more reserved to people who are like genuinely gay, bisexual. Like, that's kind of like, they know that to be true about themselves. They're just not ready for the public to know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like I said, I feel that for sure. But I still feel like if you are walking into this knowing that he does not want, and then you still decide, I feel like that's kind of fucked up for sure. So
I would out him.
I just wanted to clarify that I think in her case, in Nikita's case, it was more so like just a DM. Because like you said, cisgender women post all the time. That's not outing. That's just literally sharing information. Yeah. So I feel that for sure.
I mean, I've always said my only rule of thumb when it comes to outing men, or just like exposing men, however you want to put it. Like, my only rule of thumb is like, if you want to quietly keep your sex life to yourself, I can respect that. But if you have ever talked to me and you are trying to quietly keep your sex life to yourself, but then you publicly want to say some negative shit about trans people, that's my one exception.
Oh, really?
You can say whatever you want to about me privately. Like, when you sitting y'all homeboys playing poker, smoking a cigar, and y'all want to talk shit about all kind of queer people, and you know you busting a bitch down, or you getting busted down by a bitch, but you still want to sit there and put your front on for your men, that ain't got nothing to do with me. But if you want to get on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff, and try to talk shit about trans folks, knowing that you like trans women,
then you're gonna be like, you fuck
that's
me.
when I would have no problem being like, that's what we're not gonna do. That's why people like Eddie Murphy, you don't ever hear him open his mouth and say not one negative word about trans people.
You don't hear that no more.
That's like, even when Tyga, even with Tyga, when stuff has come out about
allegedly.
him, you don't
allegedly.
When people have made claims against, well, I mean, Eddie Murphy was publicly driving around hookers, transsexual hookers in Los Angeles back in the 90s. But people lie about shit all the time. So it's like, if that's another thing you want to lie about publicly, then I mean, lie about it. Like, you'll see celebrities sit there and like file for divorces, and they're not even going to get a divorce, but they want to be in the headlines.
Stunts. You see a whole bunch of YouTube couples lie about, we're breaking up, knowing good and well they back together. They're not even broken up.
They have no problems in their marriage whatsoever.
Yeah. They're just doing it for clicks and views. Because rent due.
So if you lying for publicity stunts, I mean,
I get it. We are in a recession, so and rent is always due.
Always due. Yeah, but that's only that's only scenario in which I could see myself being like. But even then, I feel like the people that would be most worth doing it to, I would probably still like DM them first and be like, hey, you might want to retract that statement or take that down or whatever the situation may be.
Would you be scared that they might send people to end you?
It would depend on the one. It would depend
on the celebrity.
It would depend on the celebrity.
So it depends on if you was gonna out them or not. It depends on which celebrity.
Yeah, because that's why I said, like I said earlier, I was like, I feel like when girls do it, you're potentially putting your safety in jeopardy.
So my question was, would you
about it?
You would think about it before you did it.
Yeah, that would just be another decision I would think through. But for the most, I don't foresee that being like
a thing.
Yeah. I don't foresee that ever being like something.
Yeah.
I mean, because I talk, in all reality, because I've even had people DM me on, mostly on Twitter, because I kind of talk a little bit more shit on Twitter about people.
Yeah.
Not so much talk shit, just make little slick comments. Because I've had people sit there and be like, oh, you don't want to make too many slick comments about DL men. But I feel like my kind of I feel like my fan base that I've built knows that like most of the time I'm just like sarcastic.
Yeah.
And so they don't dig into it a whole lot
it's
anyway.
mostly jokey jokes.
But I mean, I've had guys sit there and, because I said stuff about like different rappers, like, I don't think I've really pointed out rappers specifically, but just talk about rappers kind of like in general.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, you don't want to do too much, because then like rappers might not want to mess with you, and like rappers are not somebody that I want to mess with me, honestly, anyway.
Why?
So, what do you mean why?
Why wouldn't you want to mess with a rapper? I would. I'm just not going to be DL about it unless you are heavily paying me to keep my mouth shut. Then at that point, like, I wouldn't care what you spew hate about on the internet, because the check.
Because you ain't gonna stop your check.
No, you can come back and pay. But if that was the scenario,
they're usually just because they kind of like do too much. That's the same way with like ball players and all that kind of stuff. They just kind of like do. But I do love me a ball player or NBA player.
You do.
But they just kind of do too much because they just enjoy a lot of things. So this is one of my theories. So talking about enjoying a lot of things.
Speaking of enjoying a lot of things,
I feel like I know we're going to talk about like trans attracted men later on, but I feel like there's a subset of like men who have sexual relations with trans women who don't necessarily do it because they like the trans aspect of it so much as they like the fact that they've done tried every other variety of women, because they have access to a lot of women, and that's the only type they haven't tried yet. And so it's like they done had a tall Asian girl, a short Asian girl, a skinny Asian girl, a big Asian girl. They done had the same variety in black girls, Latina girls. And so now they done went through every kind of fetish that they can with females. And so now they're just like, well, you know, this kind of is similar to me, and I haven't ever tried this kind, and then I could try this kind, but then in the same variety of flavors.
Yeah.
And so then they start, and so I feel like that's why it's kind of more prominent with like men who've had vast sexual histories, for them to start tiptoeing into trans women too. That's just kind of like my theory. And so a lot of times when you get to guys who are like celebrities or ball players and stuff like that, I feel like a lot of times why they can tend to be a little bit more freaked out. Yeah. Coochie plentiful. And so I feel like since they got a little bit more freaked out, that's kind of like why they kind of a lot of times gravitate towards trans women. But I feel like part of the real reason, like most rappers, like I ain't really worried about them, is because most of the time rappers, if they fucking with trans women, they're looking for a certain kind of, how do I put this on the internet?
Yeah, how you gonna word this?
How am I gonna word it?
I'm interested.
They looking for.
I'm leaning in.
They want a woman who has a certain kind of tool.
What kind of tool?
A big tool.
Functional?
Very functional. And you know exactly what they want you to do with that tool. And and that's not really much my tease on the internet. And so like I don't give. That's not really my role I play into.
Yeah. What was the word we heard earlier? I forgot what it's called. The trans term, or the not trans. Well, it's trans, but it's the porn term.
What?
Like a topping tranny. What was the actual?
Oh, tranny top.
There we go.
Tranny top. I'm not a tranny top really on the internet.
Gotcha.
So like I feel like.
So you think rappers?
I'm not gonna be. They're not gonna gravitate towards me. Rappers is about to.
Rappers what?
If I go missing.
You think rappers want that, girl?
I mean, I think
I'm with that in general. We're not talking about nobody in particular.
We not. Just in general, I feel like they just kind of like the bigger the better is what they go for.
Do you think trainees usually have small dicks?
No. Most of the like really, really popular ones, it's just kind of like, I don't know, for whatever reason, Maybe it's in my head. Maybe the right rapper hasn't just found me. I don't know. But if you haven't found me yet, don't find me now.
So you don't like the top? You don't
what?
Speaking of topping tranny.
Oh.
Okay. Outing men.
Yeah.
Do you think it's good to out a man who wants you to top him?
Oh, they're the first ones you should out.
I feel that, though. I feel that.
All of those things.
I feel that. So do you feel like someone who wants to be discreet with you is gay, possibly? Or do you think, because do you think that they view you as a man?
Yeah. Or at least, like, they don't view you as female. And then, but I think that's just, like, people in general. Because even I feel like people who are, quote-unquote, allies, there's a subset of them who want trans people to be prosperous, want them to have all the rights that they need to have, but they don't necessarily view you as a woman still.
Just like how I feel, it's almost the equivalent. It's not the exact, but it's almost the equivalent of when back in the day when white men would think black women were attractive, because back then we wasn't even considered fully human. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like whenever white guys would like try to be secretive about it, it was like he didn't view you as a human either. It was just he was attracted to you. You get what I'm saying? So I do feel like it's slightly the equivalent.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. It's like he wants to, but he's gonna keep it on the low because he views you just like everybody else views you.
But
that's why I feel like if you fucking with him, you going with the idea that you a man.
Okay, I can see that.
Because you're well aware of it. That's why I don't do it.
I don't necessarily.
That's why I don't do it. That's why you fully out when you with me.
I see myself as like,
we outside, man. we outside. You gonna show me that you view me the way that you said you view me, babes. Because I view me like this. So like,
you should be viewing me the same way.
Yeah, exactly. And if you can't, you ain't fucking with me. Period. I've even had.
Why do you think Hennessy Marie did that?
Who?
Hennessy Marie.
Cardi's sister?
No. No. The girl on the internet. From Miami.
This is that one girl that secretly
got on there. Well, I think she had bottom surgery. And so she was just not disclosing to men that she was trans, but then she got on the internet and like told everybody like all these guys she had fucked down there.
Ooh.
You didn't see that?
Oh, and I did see something like that, but I didn't know the full story.
Yeah,
I didn't even look into it.
I didn't even look into it, but I think from what I've seen,
every time I see anything negative about trans women on there, I don't, because that's how you fuel it. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about it, you're commenting under it, you're viewing it. I refuse to click on any of it because that's not how I want to be viewed. That's how, when you are facing an enemy, and any enemy at all, regardless it's the media or someone talking about you or in your everyday life, the only way they will win is if you fuel them. You have to cut off their resources. Stop watching it. Stop entertaining it. So I just don't listen to that stuff. I briefly heard about it, but didn't even know the girl name. Do you feel like it's okay? So for girls who are post-op, do you think they should tell?
What? Why are you making that face?
Because you hesitating, girl. I just want to hear. This is gonna be juicy. I've never asked you this. I don't even know her take on it.
Oh, I think if you are, like, if it's a casual type of thing, then I don't think it's really that super necessary. Like, there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna be like, because let's be very clear about something. Because people who think that they should still always 100% have to tell go with the idea of like, quote unquote, well, you're still a man. Which at that point is kind of like the only part of you that's still male, a man, really is your chromosomes, and nobody in the world is fucking somebody based on their chromosomes. Or they'll be like, well, you used to be a man. And it's like, yeah, but grown-ass women used to be girls. But if you fuck a 30-year-old female, you're not gonna be like, well, did she tell you?
Yeah. Also, like
15 years ago she was underage.
Yeah.
No, because you're not fucking somebody who was there. You're
and
fucking
whenever
your
you're
partner.
randomly hooking up with somebody, did you tell him that 2 years ago you caught chlamydia? No, you left that part out, didn't you?
Yeah, but
you left that
but
out.
You don't have it now. It's like you don't have it now,
so
why
I
am
don't
gonna
have to tell you
you
now. Yeah, I kind of agree, but I'm always gonna tell. So just in case I wind up missing.
If you're post-op and you've had bottom surgery, then I think, and you want to be in a relationship with somebody, I feel like for the honesty of your relationship, then you should tell them.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I mean, Nikki
just
Tutorials
she
within her
she
whole
got engaged
relationship.
and everything. He didn't even know nothing.
Yeah, she hadn't told. And it's because, like, to her, she looked at it as, that was, like, in her past, and it was just, like, a medical procedure.
But, like, whenever you're in the public eye like that, I completely agree. I don't feel like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you're in a relationship, I do feel like you should tell, like you said, just for the honesty of the whole relationship. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But random hookup, random drive-by, maybe not. But also when you're going through this whole spree of trying to expose people.
Y'all pussy better feel like what it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah, but if you're going through this whole spree of like trying to expose people, do you view yourself as a man or something? Like you did all of this just to show like, oh, I'm still a man.
No, that's messy.
Like, the fuck is your problem,
That
girl?
was just messy.
Yeah.
That's just messy. Like, that was just outing somebody for the sake of being messy.
Yeah, for fame. You just wanted 15 seconds.
Yeah, she wanted her little internet class.
And I wouldn't even go entertain it. Because, for one, you're following into the same stigma that they want to put us all in. Mm-hmm. And you're just making us all look bad. So I'm not going to entertain them for showing you, and I'm not going to entertain you for doing it. Period.
Yeah, no. I think that was just a whole messy situation.
But Nikki, I forgot all about that one.
But it's also, too, it's kind of like you can say that it's messy and you shouldn't do it, but when you think about it, like I said before, it's like females do it. Like, what was that? Because I actually listened to her audio book on it, but it was like a video vixen back in like the 90s, early 2000s. She talked about every rapper, everybody. She did a whole tell-all, and she it was like Chronicles of a Video Vixen or something like that. She talked about she talked about Ja Rule. She named everybody.
Did she?
Yeah. It's amazing. You should listen to it.
Is it a book?
Yeah, there's an audio book because I listened to it on audio. Audible. But like she went through and named all these men and like talked about her relationships with them and all this different kind of stuff. And so like when you put that up to that context, it's like it's not that different. I feel like a lot of times trans women get.
I don't feel like she should be outing it either. If they are married or if they didn't want to be exposed, I feel like even her as a cisgender woman, she shouldn't do it either. But I feel like I feel like a lot of times when like trans women do it, it's like, oh, it's messy, they shouldn't have done that. But then it's like it's a commonplace. It's not necessarily like a trans issue. Just like people in general. What's that one little young girl that tried to out Snoop Dogg on the FaceTime?
Oh.
She was the little young girl. It happened. You know, he married and stuff.
It was a tranny?
No.
I was a
cisgender woman. Mm-hmm. She was trying to out Snoop Dogg and be like, yeah, I'm messing with Snoop Dogg. I'm trying to mess up his marriage and stuff. Girl, you walked into that knowing that. Like, why would you do that? I feel like she was wrong too. He wrong, but you also wrong too. Like, you shouldn't even walked into that and did that then if you felt like it was morally, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you felt like it was, you shouldn't have done it at all. One thing if
he just randomly hits you up, it's another one. Like, if you
entertaining
just actively fucked him.
Yeah. Facts. Well, that's our episode.
Yes, thank you so much for watching again.
Thank you for watching.
Make sure you check us out online and come back for our next episode of T-Rated.
Yes, Shayla_Davion on all platforms.
Girl, we're gonna put it on there, girl.
On all platforms.